Please subscribe and don't forget to press the bell icon to get notified whenever we upload a new video.
Welcome back. Well, on to some stocks in focus. Idea and Vodafone have decided to pay dues to the Income Tax Department in order to get their merger going. Remember, the merger will create the largest telecom company in India, and the Telecom Department had earlier refused to entertain their plea to reconsider the dues. The payment, however, will be made under protest. Nisha Podar joins in with exclusive details. Nisha.
First to the news development. After the Department of Telecommunications really refused to take any requests from Idea as well as Vodafone to reconsider that amount of 7,260 odd crore rupees of charges to be paid by them to get the final approval for the mega merger of the two companies. Well, what I gather from sources with direct knowledge is that both Idea and Vodafone have decided to pay up that huge amount to the DOT, but not without a fight. That is likely to be given to Department of Telecommunications under protest. And these are the key words, because we do gather that they are likely to move the Supreme Court and put an appeal in the court of law against the charges that have been levied. Now remember that the hope comes in because there is a legal precedent of the similar type where Bharti Airtel and Telenor acquisition faced similar charges, and the DOT's charges were stayed by the court of law by the Supreme Court. So there is a legal precedent which is going to be really seen in this particular case as well, and Idea and Vodafone are hopeful about that. But at the moment, in the next few weeks, they are likely to pay up that huge amount of over 3,300 crore rupees bank guarantee by Idea and 3,900 odd crore rupees of cash by Vodafone. But remember that under protest clearly means that the two companies, the payers, would have the right to really oppose this, and if they really win in the court of law, then that refund could be made. So at the moment, the good news is that the decks could be cleared for the entire merger to go through, which has been languishing for over a year after the merger announcement was made, and that's the whole reason why Idea and Vodafone want to pay up this amount. But on the other hand, it's not coming cheap. It is going to be an expensive affair and may lead to a long legal hassle and tangle with the Department of Telecommunications as well.
Okay, all right. Thanks so much for that, Nisha. Well, Piyush Goyal will hold meetings with top banks, housing finance companies, NBCC to discuss critical issues and possible measures to boost the real estate sector. Manisha Natarajan joins in early this morning with all those details. Hi, Manisha. Good morning.
Hi, Nigel. Good morning. Yes, it's a marathon 3-hour meeting which is going to be presided by the Finance Minister and also MOS Housing, Hardeep Puri. The fact that NHB, HUDCO have been called and a lot of private and public sector banking chiefs have been called, it indicates that the main issue which is going to be discussed is funding for the sector. The sector seems to be starved of funding as of now. Bank credit is quite slow. Remember, this was a sector which had its chief source of funding coming from buyers who would pay up at pre-launch phase, but after RERA, pre-launches have stopped. Also, with 12% GST on under-construction houses, most buyers are tending to gravitate towards fully completed houses. So funding is a very big issue. 12% GST is something that the industry has been pushing for. Both Nareshko and Kradai will be making a presentation to the Finance Minister on what are their big issues. The other thing is consumer trust has not returned because, as we all know, JP case has not got resolved. Those 22,000 homes are stuck. Unitech buyers are also stuck. Lavasa is another big problem. So how do you return consumer trust to revive the market? These are some of the key issues which are going to be discussed in this marathon 3-hour meeting.
Okay, all right, Manisha. Thanks very much for that. Take a break now, but all the cues and news you need to work with on the F&O space coming up.
Welcome back. You're watching Power Breakfast on CNBC TV18. Well, let's pull out some of those Asian markets. When we started off the show, they were holding with very, very strong gains. We have the Shanghai market that's still holding with a gain of around 0.3 to around 0.4%. But pull up the Nikkei as well as the Kospi. Both those two markets should come up for you. Now, when we started off the show, they were sitting with gains of more than 100 points. That was the Nikkei. It's come up from the high point of the day. The Kospi as well was up close to 0.3%. Now it's up only 0.1% odd. So that's telling you some of those Asian markets have come off the high point of the day. And not just that, the Hang Seng, that opened just around half hour ago odd. The intraday chart will tell you the picture actually of the Hang Seng. It was holding comfortably with a gain of more than 100 points. Now that's holding with a gain of only around 55 points. Even the SGX Nifty was indicating a 35-point bump up to kickstart trade. Now it's indicating, yes, a start in the green, but it's indicating maybe in fact a 25-point bump up is what we could see. We still have an hour to go before we open up. Let's see whether we even get that 25 points odd. But that's about the equity markets globally. Let's talk about commodities. Manisha Gupta joins in with all those details from the commodity space. Manisha.
Thank you so much for that. Let's start with the crude prices yet again, because we have seen a lot of volatile moves coming in for that. Yesterday was a percentage point gain, and the crude hasn't really been able to hold on to that stuff. The U.S. weekly inventories have shown a buildup in crude, but a decline in distillates and gasoline. So that tells you that the demand is picking up. The U.S. imports have been higher as well. But what really is a number to watch is the U.S. output, which has hit a record 11 million barrels per day in the previous week. And that is something that will continue to weigh on the U.S. crude oil prices. So even as the Brent would be trading steady, you will see that pressure constantly building on the U.S. crude oil prices. Apart from that, the Yemen rebels have attacked on oil facilities in Saudi Arabia. That could add some premium. And also Libya, while it has started some of its ports for export, it also has declared force majeure on one of its ports. So there are contradicting fundamentals keeping the crude oil prices all over the place. In the metals, you have zinc, which gained up 3.5% overnight. This is the biggest one-day gain in the last 1 year. So the zinc price is clearly, leading the gains in the metal space. Can't say that about the other metals, because when you look at lead or copper, they are trading at one-year lows. So it clearly is about the individual fundamentals which the metal prices are taking stock of at this point.
Okay, all right, Manisha. Thanks very much for that. Let's go across to Mangalam now. He joins in to tell us what he's tracking from the F&O space.
Morning, Ekta. So, from the F&O and flow space, rather amorphous cues are coming in, because while the Nifty was lower yesterday, the mid-caps took a beating. The flows were positive. So the FIIs as well as the domestic institutional investors pumped in about 200 crores collectively in the cash market. Gross volumes were low, so a net inflow of just about $1 billion is something that we saw in the cash market. In index futures too, while the markets ended lower and the Nifty futures premium actually turned into a discount, the FIIs actually went ahead and bought about 358 crores in index futures itself. With this, the longs in index futures has now moved to about 54%. This compares with 35% at the start of this series. Huge purchase in index options, close to 1,600 crores, understandably so, given it is the Nifty Bank weekly options expiry. Out there we saw a lot of put buying as well as some put selling. So it'll be interesting to see how much of that put selling was on account of Nifty Bank, how much of that put buying was on account of Nifty Bank as well. So that is something we'll have to watch out for. But some markers are placed at the 27,200 call for the Nifty Bank, as well as 26,600 put, where a lot of action was there. As far as the Nifty is concerned, for the last few days we were seeing a lot of action at that 11,000 level. Now it's moved 100 points on either side. So 11,100 call, that one saw some writing yesterday, given the fact that we turned back from 11,076 thereabouts, as well as the 10,900 put. There the writers felt a little jittery, so covered some positions to the tune of 7.7 lakhs. In terms of individual stocks, watch out for Jet Airways. That comes out of F&O ban, and a lot of shorts added on Ashok Leyland. That stock down almost 15-16% in the last 2-3 trading sessions.
Okay, all right. Thanks so much for that, Mangalam. Well, moving on to our bullseye corner, then our contestants this week. Jay Thakkar, Gaurav Bissa, as well as Samit Chavan, they're battling it out for the strongest portfolio. Let's hear out their picks for today.
The first sell recommendation is on Bharat Financials. One can sell Bharat Financials for a target of 1132 with a stop loss of 1182. The second sell recommendation is on Escorts. One can sell Escorts for a target of 832 with a stop loss of 880. Well, the third recommendation is a buy recommendation, and that is on Canfin Homes. One can buy Canfin Homes for a target of 348 with a stop loss of 319. And a final recommendation is again a buy recommendation, and that is on DHFL. One can buy DHFL for a target of 642 with a stop loss of 604.
Our first call is a buy call on LIC for a target of 542, stop loss 503. Second buy would be on MCX for a target of 872, stop loss 798. Third buy would be on Indocount for a target of 93, stop loss 80. And final call would be a buy call on Piramal Enterprises for a target of 2712, stop loss at 2474.
My first recommendation today is buy on Bandhan Bank for target price of 608. The stop loss for this would be 588. The second recommendation today would be buy on L&T Finance Holdings for target price of 155. One can have a stop loss of 149. Third recommendation today would be buy on Sun TV for target price of 795, keeping the stop loss at 768. Final recommendation today in this wholesale recommendation is on UBL for target price of 1085, having a stop loss of 1125.
Okay, and on that note, we're going to wrap up this edition of Power Breakfast. Stay tuned. Bazaar Morning Call just after a short break. Thanks for watching.